to our program directors, ministers of religion here present, the Speaker of Council, Councillor Mulwele, Premier David Makura, the former Premier of our province and Treasurer General of the ANC, Paul Mashatile, Minister Mondli Gungubele, who had to leave us early, Deputy Ministers, Executive Mayors, MECs, MPs, MPLs, and Councillors. To our Skudikiribone, the boys, the Matongo, Mabaso, and Tikhasho families, and other relatives of our late Mayor Jolidee Matongo, we join you in this painful morning. It's rather afternoon now, as we bid farewell to our comrade, brother, and friend. To his parish priest and fellow congregants of what we would refer to as AME Dube, AME Yakotlasi. We join you in mourning a fellow worshipper, for Jolidee was a devout Christian who wore his church uniform with great pride. With his Bible in hand, he surprised many with his intimate knowledge of the word of the Lord. Let us all today find comfort in the words of the Lord. Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. Fellow mourners, the task I have been assigned today is not an easy one for me to perform. It is not easy to lay to rest a comrade with whom I worked so closely. The pain of loss cuts too deep, as it shattered the many good and hopes that one had for Comrade Jolidee. Our President, Honorable Ramaphosa, echoed our pain as a nation and the people of Johannesburg in particular when he said, and I quote, "It is hard to comprehend this tragedy. Nothing could prepare any of us for this sudden loss, which has deprived our nation's economic center of its second executive mayor in 2 months. Comrades and friends, having worked very closely with Comrade Jolidee, in particular as he assumed the role of head of communications and spokesperson of the ANC in Johannesburg, I could not but marvel at his intellect and his ability to translate technical policy concepts into everyday language. As the city of Johannesburg undertook the task of revising its growth and development strategy and undertook extensive public consultations in 2011, it was him, together with the Regional Secretary, Comrade Dada Morero, who spearheaded the ANC's participation in these sessions. They watched, almost with a hawk's eye, that the manifesto commitments and the agenda of fundamental socio-economic transformation finds expression in the various sectoral engagements that took place. Not being a councillor at the time, Mayor Matongo took an active interest in shaping an outcomes-driven approach to governance in the city he later came to lead. It is therefore not surprising that he took on his executive roles in the city with such great acumen and aplomb. As member of the Mayoral Committee for Finance, he understood all too well the need for the city to rebuild its capability and pioneering role in municipal finance. He set out to ensure that the city could rebuild its depleted reserves and strengthen its balance sheet, and therefore its ability to raise money to invest in infrastructure and services. He focused his energies on balancing the city's spend on ensuring access to services for those communities that are underserved, whilst replenishing aging infrastructure and the maintenance thereof, and also ensuring the building of infrastructure to help build the economy. It is for this reason that the City of Johannesburg was the first to adopt the Lanseria Smart City Development Framework, and from within itself and neighboring municipalities built a new city that is rather half of the current City of Johannesburg. Fellow residents, together with his predecessor, Mayor Jeff Makubo, and the rest of their collectives, Mayor Jolidee Matongo placed firmly on the agenda of the city the need to internalize and implement the growth and development strategy. Whilst adapting the priorities to current challenges and realities, they kept a focus on the outcomes that the city would work towards, which at this stage, and allow me not to do it because I was going to read these outcomes for posterity. Let me at this stage pass a message of support to his colleagues and councillors in the City of Johannesburg, led today by the Speaker, Councillor Molwele. To his colleague mayors here present, you have lost one who joined you recently in the arduous yet fulfilling task of leading your cities and towns. Fellow residents, our mayor was also a person who was full of life. Mayor Jolidee Matongo was, as many have said, a jolly good fellow. He transitioned easily from being Mayor Matongo to just Jolly, Oplomangos Fate. And Jolly loved to dance. He laughed out loudly and heartily. He screamed his lungs out at soccer matches. As I conclude, allow me therefore to borrow words from some members of a WhatsApp group that he created and was admin of. Being a serial read-only participant on these groups, I observed how eerily silent the group under the title The Ghosts was on Saturday the 18th, except for the posting at close to midnight of the fateful happenings of that day. It was only at about 10:30 the following day that Libilo Maloka broke the ice with this message, and I quote, "I've been wondering and eagerly awaiting the stadium to allow supporters. One of the things I wondered about was how Jolly would behave as mayor in the mayoral suite. If he was to be quiet and mayoral, I had intended to mock him. And if he was to behave as he usually did, I was going to tell him to be mayoral." Close quote. To which Mzamo Martins responded, knowing him, he was not going to be quiet. Close quote. I close with a tribute from another member of the group, Mbali Seheri, and I quote, "We, the Orlando West generation of COSAS and early generation of SOSCO, have lost one of our flag bearers. The current generation of youth in Soweto have lost an icon, leader, and trailblazer in making to emulate and learn from. A true diehard who unwaveringly lived the Bucks code to the end, once a pirate, always a pirate. An ANC leader, a fellow fighter, and combatant, who lived and embodied the values and principles of Ubuntu and humanity. A father, husband, and brother who valued, loved, and cherished his family to the last day," close quote. Ladies and gentlemen, this Jolly was simply jolly. Thank you very much.